Hello again. It was hoped by the Home Office, led by the worse than useless Priti Patel, our dear Home Secretary, that with the coming of winter there would be a let-up in the huge numbers of people crossing the channel in small boats and ending up on the shores of Kent. This has proved to be a serious miscalculation, because if anything, the numbers are increasing as winter draws on. On Thursday, 559 people landed in Kent, and yesterday another 358. That is over 1,000 people in 2 days in the middle of winter. Most of these are single men, which means that each one will require a separate flat. Just to accommodate those who came in the last 2 days will entail building perhaps 700 or 800 new flats. Believe it or not, there are ordinary English people in Kent who are on the waiting list for a council house, but they're unlikely to be moving to the top of the queue anytime soon. This is because those who arrive with literally nothing but the clothes on their back are deemed in more urgent need than the families and vulnerable people who have been following the rules and waiting patiently. The illegal immigrants in effect get to jump the queue because they have put themselves into such a position that they are in dire need of shelter. Some viewers living in parts of the country where there have previously been few ethnic minorities might possibly have noticed lately that they are seeing foreigners wandering around the neighbourhood looking a bit lost. People of Middle Eastern appearance generally. This is because Kent simply cannot cope anymore with the thousands of people landing there, and other local authorities are being forced to take a share of the burden. This has led to small towns and villages in out-of-the-way parts of rural England and Wales finding themselves becoming multicultural overnight as busloads of immigrants are foisted onto them. It has to be said this has created some ill feeling because in those places too, social housing must be provided for the asylum seekers and undocumented migrants, as they have literally no money or belongings. This crisis is growing worse with every passing day. This is not something which will be going away, no matter what we are told. In the newspaper yesterday was a long piece about how aircraft are now being used to spot the boats as they are launched, so that the French may stop them, but still they come. This is a problem which affects every single person in Britain, making it more difficult to get an appointment at hospitals, harder to get school places, putting pressure on social housing, and as I said yesterday, the need to build ever more houses on green fields. This is to say nothing of the associated difficulties, such as the types of crimes to which some of these newcomers tend, often very different from the sort of offences with which we in this country are familiar. It is as plain as a pikestaff that the present government does not have any intention of tackling this problem. Voting Labour won't help, because Labour are even happier to see the country flooded with refugees and asylum seekers. They are natural Labour voters, you see. Even the drowning of those people a few weeks ago, which many people claimed would mark a watershed, has had no effect on what is happening. There was a short pause, but now even more people are arriving than before that boat sank. A government which cannot guard and protect a country's borders is failing in one of the most fundamental aspects of what it means to be the government of a nation state. In other words, we no longer have a government which can manage even the basic requirements of running a country. It is a sad state of affairs.